This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 3 hours and holding. All is going well in our countdown, and we've got the flight crew for STS-44 having breakfast in the crew quarters at the operations and checkout building. Crew is just beginning their first flight day of a 10-day mission. We've got mission specialist Jim Voss flying for the first time, payload specialist Tom Hennon, Mario Runco flying for the first time today. He's a mission specialist. And we've got Commander Fred Gregory making his third trip into space today. There's pilot Tom Hendricks. He's flying for the first time today in space. And mission specialist Story Musgrave. He becomes a 4-time shuttle veteran today. This is shuttle launch control at T-minus 3 hours and holding. We've got Commander Fred Gregory, Colonel in the United States Air Force, being assisted. He's getting his helmet on. And this is in the suit-up room at the operations and checkout building. Commander Gregory was just briefed on the weather conditions here at Kennedy and essentially world weather conditions in case they had to make a landing at a transoceanic abort site. We've got mission specialist James Voss. He's being assisted with getting things stuffed into his pockets. We've got mission specialist Mario Runco. He's flying for the first time today. Mario is a lieutenant commander in the United States Navy. Payload specialist Tom Hennon standing up. Hennon is a chief warrant officer in the United States Army. He's a payload specialist on this flight. He'll be conducting the Terra Scout experiment for this mission, making observations of various sites on the ground from space. We've got pilot Tom Hendricks flying for the first time today. He's got on his watch pointing to it. He's a colonel in the United States Air Force. The crew does a brief test of the suit. They have air circulated through the suit, and it just tests for a leakage rate in the suit. While they're in the suit-up room, we've got here mission specialist Story Musgrave. He's a medical doctor. Story is becoming a 4-time shuttle veteran today. This is shuttle launch control. We've got the STS-44 flight crew coming down the hall at the operations and checkout building. Commander Fred Gregory is leading the group. Pilot Tom Hendricks. They're all waving goodbye to well-wishers at the ONC building. And we've got the crew coming out. And a group of well-wishers. Crew is all ready to go, fly today.
NCD Launch Director T12.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think we've about converged on the calculations for the replenish time. So you ought to have the team prepared to come out of this hold at 35 past the hour, looking for a T0 at 45 past the hour. I'm sorry, 44 past the hour.
Understand, thank you.
T-minus 2 minutes 30 seconds. The orbiter test conductors requested that pilot Hendricks clear the caution and warning memory system. Retraction of the gaseous oxygen vent hood is now underway. Liquid oxygen tank is now at flight pressure. T-minus 2 minutes and counting. Tonight's launch will mark the 7th night launch in the history of the shuttle program and the 10th flight of the orbiter Atlantis.
And enjoy your Thanksgiving. Okay, let's go for EPLH2 precision. Atlantis is ready.
T-minus 31 seconds. We have a go for auto sequence start. Atlantis' 4 redundant computers have primary control of critical functions.
20. 15.
T-minus 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. We have a go for engine start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff of Atlantis and the 6-man crew on a Department of Defense flight.
Roger roll, Atlantis.
Houston now controlling. Atlantis is completely rolling over to the proper position for its climb to a 28.5 degree inclination orbit. Three main engines now throttling back to 70% as Atlantis prepares to pass through the area of maximum aerodynamic pressure. Atlantis speed is now 1,000 miles an hour, altitude 34,000 feet. Downrange from Kennedy Space Center, 4 nautical miles.
Atlantis, Houston, go at throttle up.
Roger, go at throttle up.
Three engines now back, operating at 104% of rated capacity. Good hydraulic systems, good electrical systems.
Atlantis, Houston, com check, UHF only.
Loud clear, John.
You're loud and clear also.
Altitude now 127,000 feet. Atlantis speed 2,725 miles an hour. Downrange from Kennedy Space Center, 25 nautical miles.
Good SRB set.
Roger.
Good Nikos.
Three engines continuing to operate well at 104% of rated capacity. Good hydraulic systems, good electrical systems. Altitude now 198,000 feet. Velocity 3,068 miles an hour.
Two-engine Banjul.
Two-engine Banjul.
Roger, and performance nominal.
Nominal.
Those calls indicate Atlantis' performance so far has been as planned, and that Atlantis could now perform a transatlantic landing at Banjul to Gambia on only 2 engines if one were to fail. However, all 3 engines continuing to operate well at 104%. Atlantis altitude is 286,000 feet. Velocity now 4,200 miles an hour. Downrange from Kennedy Space Center, 102 nautical miles.
Atlantis, negative return.
Roger, negative.
That call indicates Atlantis can no longer return to the Kennedy Space Center for landing if that were to become necessary. However, all three engines still operating at 104%. Good hydraulic systems, good electrical systems.